When did Chrysler say, you're going to be a Plymouth, you're going to be a Chrysler,
The
whatever?
basic deal, we had Oldsmobiles, 57, 58, started the year in 59, but we about run through all the Oldsmobile stuff. Daddy was a Chrysler man anyway,
Yeah.
so he goes out and buys a Plymouth somewhere in Nashville, I think was the first time we ran a race. And he said, I'm going to like this, it's going to be better. A year after that, Chrysler had a ad agency that worked out of Philadelphia. They come knocking on the door and said, what if? So it was kind of under the table deal.
So it was marketing. It was more marketing than it was Chrysler.
Then we worked a couple of years with them, and in '63, Plymouth, they decided they'd sneak in under the table. So was everybody else.
Yeah. Let's go to 64. 64, you go to Daytona with a Hemi.
Right.
And that little Plymouth.
Great body.
Yeah.
Pretty car.
Pretty car. Really, still one of my favorite cars.
Dodge had the same car, just a different headlight
Yeah.
and front grille.
Still just-
but the Plymouth's a little bit better.
Yeah,
than
one of the
Dodge.
prettiest cars, had some style to it. So you go down there, it's tough to run wide open around the racetrack, right?
Well,
right, we're going to be good.
We really didn't have a clue. We didn't hardly know what a Hemi was. We just we get down there and they mess with us all day inspection. Finally, we get out late that evening, and Richard runs as fast as we had run in '63. We go to, you might say dinner, but I'll say supper that night.
Say supper, say dinner.
And we questioned him. He said, you know, we run good as we run last year already. Was you wide open? No. Well, how much was you out of? I don't know. How much faster can you run? I don't know.
That's what he said.
So-
How much faster can we go?
And so we go in the next morning, air the tires and warm it up and send him out. And he comes in about white as a ghost, about 10 or 12 mile an hour faster than we'd ever run. His big story was that he was going in the corners hard, and we had a bench seat, stock bench seat, took the right side off for weight, you know, and he's sitting there with the seat belts, and of course we had roll bars in. Said he finally realized he was getting down the corner, and he was getting over here.
Yeah.
Holding on.
You just using the steering wheel to hang on. You wasn't driving, you was just hanging on.
He was using the steering wheel to hold on, so we get a 2x4, and kind of, it was about 2 foot long. We cut it in two and put it together and wrapped it with an army blanket and put it to the seat right here for his ribs, and it drove a lot better.
You
True
drive the car
story.
with one hand.
That's better than any spring change.
Best setup we ever had.
And there's the checkered flag for Richard Petty, the winner of the 6th annual Daytona 500.
For you guys, how big a win was the Daytona 500 in 1964?
It couldn't have been no bigger. We'd never won a super speedway.
But at that time, Kyle, you couldn't linger on it because you had to come home and get ready for the next race.
We went to
know?
Richmond the next week.
Yeah.
You know, and it would just bam, 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 bam. I mean, they kept you busy.
Our big product then was to get home, get the car ready for the next race.
Yeah.
And Daytona was just another race. And you got to figure every year Daytona got bigger and bigger and bigger. The first 3 or 4 years, Darlington was still the biggest race that we had. Daytona hadn't come into its own.
Yeah.
And then over a period of time, Daytona got to be the place,
Yeah. That's hard for people to believe that Darlington was
the thing.
the thing. And
It
the
was the
Daytona
Super Bowl
started,
at that
but
time.
it was the Super Bowl at that time. Yeah. Because everybody
In the
had been to
50s
Darlington.
and all that it started 3 abreast,
Yeah.
75, 80 cars, so hot you couldn't breathe.
Yeah, always.
And a bunch of gnats.
All right, so you guys run along and doing good, winning championships, winning races. 67 is a year that you guys will always be identified with in this sport. 10 wins in a row, 27 out of whatever they ran that year.
48.
27 out of 48 races you guys won. And you did it all with an old car.
The year-old car.
Yeah, how did that? Tell that.
Well, we done decent in 66.
Won Daytona.
Okay, but how many races?
With that car.
How many races did
With
we
the 60, with the same car you won 27 races with,
Right.
you won Daytona with?
We won,
Wow.
it was a 66 car, and we won 8 or 9 races with that car that year, okay?
Yeah.
Then in 67, we built a brand new car. And
Went to
we
Daytona
had the
with
very latest thing. We ran that thing 4 races, led every race, but something happened to the car every time. Told Dale, I said, personality ain't no good, park it.
Yeah.
So we took the 66, put a 67 grill in it, and then won all the races.
Same shell, same body,
same
everything.
car.
Just
Yeah.
'69, you guys switched to Ford.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I remember. '67, we had it was a green Fury that he bought Mama, and she had never had a car.
Okay, yeah,
Never had a
okay,
car.
okay.
Always wanted a car. So he got this green Plymouth Fury, and we were on our way up to get a haircut. Probably the last haircut I had. We're on our way up to Larry's to get a haircut, and we pull off there where Ronnie lives on that side road, and he run that thing up to about 100 miles an hour. First time I'd ever been 100 miles an
Okay.
hour in my life. And then later we switched to Ford, and he showed up with a Petty blue Ford station wagon and told my mom she was going to have to drive that. And he didn't eat at the kitchen table for a few days because she was upset because she was having to give up her car and drive that station wagon. But I want to go to '69. When you switched to Ford, I remember going home to Moody's and seeing Pearson's car, that gold and blue, pretty gold and blue,
Yeah.
pretty gold and blue.
17.
Because everything we had was Petty blue, so gold and blue. But they had sports cars, they had presses, they had. I mean, it was like. It wasn't level cross North
Yeah, it was a
Carolina.
factory.
I understand
It was
that.
it
It was
was
a factory.
absolutely. When you switched to Ford, did the other Ford teams embrace you guys?
No. Well, you got to figure, we switched to Ford and went to Riverside and won the race. First time in a Ford. And that really blew their mind.
Yeah.
So then we go to Daytona. And Holman Moody built all the engines
Yeah.
at that time. We go down there and we run like 180 mile an hour. Everybody else is running 188, 89. You know, so we work on the car, take the spoiler off the rear. You know,
Trying to gain
it's
speed.
there's something wrong with the car. Man, I go and pull that thing in high gear up the back stretch and it starts breaking loose because the back end raising up. But then we argue with them a little bit. And somewhere in the meantime, we slipped around and got an engine that somebody pulled out of another car. We run 189 mile an hour. So first thing you know, them guys wasn't giving us good engines.
Yeah.
But by then, we didn't have to worry about the Ford people because my brother was starting to build the engine.
Yeah.
So then it was even Steven.
Yeah. So the Ford deal ended up being a little bit of an experiment
Well,
because you went back to Chrysler.
To go the whole reason we went with Ford in '68, we knew Dodge was getting the Daytona with the wing and the nose.
The wing car. So
Yeah.
the Daytona came first.
The Daytona.
Daytona come
it
first in
came
69.
Yeah.
It came in '69. So I go to Plymouth and I say, "Are we going to get a wing?" And they said, "No." And I said, "Well, why can I have a Dodge?" They said, "You're a Plymouth man. You win in all these races anyway. You don't need a wing." So wait a minute, man. And I said,
Yeah.
"Okay, if I can't have a Dodge and you're not going to fix the Plymouth, then I'm going to go across the street and talk to Ford." Yeah, go on. We went the same day, went all the way to the top, had a deal when we come back down, all in one at one time. Okay, you know, April of the next year, the head guy at Plymouth came down to the house, come down to our shop.
In April of
Yeah,
'69.
in April, and we'd won a race or two already with a Ford. He come down there and said, "What's it going to take to get you back in a Plymouth?" I said, "Give me a wing." They went back then
Superbird
and built the
was born.
Superbird.
No way.
Yeah.
So that's why
That's why
that's
there's
when
a
the Superbird
Superbird.
came around.
Yeah.
No way.
But my impression of it, they got so much feedback from the dealerships
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they had to do
Had to
it.
do it, yeah.
Because back then, there was as many fights over the car make as there
Yeah.
was
Oh, yeah.
drivers. And
The cars were more important than the drivers.
Yeah. '70s, you guys just continued to win races. And if we look at the '70s as a whole, you had Isaac
Yeah.
with Harry Hyde and Bobby Allison with Junior, and then Cale with Junior, and then Darrell with Junior, and then the whole time all that's going on, there's David and the Wood brothers cherry picking, coming in every now and then and picking races. When I look back from like the mid '60s to '80,
It's the same
that was
drivers.
like the
They-
same group of drivers week in,
They
week out.
lasted longer than any of the rest
Yeah.
of them ever lasted.
I mean, I look at it and think back on it, and I think, holy crikeys, man. It was
Well,
like superstars everywhere.
You got to figure back then, everybody worked independently of each other.
Yeah.
Junior had his place in Wilkesboro, Woods boys over in Staunton, Hubbard Moody over in Charlotte.
Cotton
us-
Owens.
Yeah.
Cotton Owens and Spartanburg, us here. Everybody worked independent. We didn't really worry about what other people done. We worried about what we did.
Yeah.
We didn't have engineers or computers. It was a growing stage that each individual team put in a little bit.
Yeah. I go back and look at Pearson and the Wood brothers first, because Daytona, Charlotte, Atlanta, Michigan, they just showed up at the big places.
The money
You
places.
didn't worry about them other places. You know what I mean?
But you had
when
Bobby
they showed
and
up,
Cale
yeah,
and
but
all
when
that
they
crowd.
showed up, when they showed up at those racetracks,
Throw another element into it.
that's my question.
Yeah.
Yeah, we looked at the race different from the standpoint that we had this one crowd that we run with every week, and we done a pretty good job of beating them most of the time.
Yeah.
So when Pearson come in, basically put the Woods boys and stuff ahead of the people that we'd been racing with. So it was kind of a head-to-head deal, because one of the others was going to win most of the races.
Yeah. What was Bobby's, Allison and Junior? I mean, you guys were like,
We were.
well, I mean, he was a scrapper. He was just a scrapper. And when I look at Bobby Allison and I think about the races he ran and how he ran, I just think scrapper.
Lord have mercy. I mean, he was a scrapper. No matter.
Yeah.
He still gets on to me about it, but we was fussing just about every race, you know. And finally, we were over at Charlotte one day, and Donnie comes up and said, "Now, you know, we got to get Bobby and Rich together and get them talking and stuff like that." Well, I said, "Okay, Donnie." I said, "If Bobby coming around the racetrack here at Charlotte the right way and Richard coming the wrong way and they hit head on, I'd say it's Bobby's fault." Now, what was you going to say? Went right straight and told Bobby. True story. And Bobby, and you can ask Bobby about it, but he still gets on to me about that.
Oh, that's
but
good,
that,
man.
But that's how dedicated I was to what we was doing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But then the throwback was when your mother kindly put you on our pit crew, you know what I mean? Okay, we'll keep
We'll
on with
get to
your
that
story.
later. We'll get to that.
Keep on
So-
with your story, but that's going to be good too.
Okay, so I'm going to throw another Junior Johnson driver, Cale. Man, y'all
Oh,
went
my
head to head with
goodness.
Cale, and he was a bulldog.
He was tougher
Man,
than
bulldog.
nails, man, that's for sure.
But the thing about Cale, if there was a tire problem or something like that, question about the tires or something, you kind of checked him off because he was hard on the right front tire.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to him because he won his share of races too, and he wasn't beat till the
Yeah.
probably two
He-
laps
he-
after the
As far as he
checkered
was
fell.
concerned, he was never beat. He'd be a lap or two behind, still just racing far out people, you know.
This is a real tricky part of the racetrack.
All right, so 79,
Okay.
greatest race car driver that ever lived come along. Smartest at the time, meaning me. Yes, exactly. We go to Daytona and test.
I didn't know you was going to drive probably 2 or 3 weeks before we were supposed to leave. And I didn't dream of it. You're 18-year-old.
You
know,
never
Rick.
let me in a car. Tell them about me warming it up.
Yes. Let you run over one of the old Dodge Magnums.
Yeah.
Paint it up good. Put you in it to warm it up. So me and Wade goes to work on your dad's Oldsmobile. We're working along there a little bit. You're sitting over there turning at about probably 2,500. God, that thing's got to be burning up. Run over there and it's pegged at about 300. You're sitting there just a grinning. What do I do to you?
Snatch me out of there, cut it off, and snatch me out.
What did I say to you?
No, it wasn't kind. It wasn't kind. I'm just going to say, I've never been in a race car.
Yeah, but you're supposed to know a little bit more than that.
I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. So I went from not knowing anything in level cross to not knowing anything at the racetrack. How'd that
was
go?
fun too, yeah. So I'm trying to prepare him for everything, and I said, when you come down pit road now, it's going to be hard for you to get stopped because speed's going to be deceptive to you. And he looked at me like, you don't know who you're talking to, bud. So I do him a roundabout. I said, okay, we're going to go run 5 laps. I'll bring you in the 5th lap. Pit 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pit. Come down pit road, goes by me, running about 100 mile an hour. Goes down pit road, finally gets it stopped down there about the start-finish line. Jumped out. You moved. Wasn't your fault, was it?
Wasn't my fault. Wasn't my fault, man.
But there was no pit road speed.
There was no
then.
pit road speed there, man. You just got used to
Yeah, but you still
used to
gotta
coming down.
stop.
And I think you qualified 192, didn't you?
Yeah, it was fast.
The instruction I gave him, I said, okay, you've never run a race before of any kind, sportsman or nothing. I said, just go out there and once the race starts, just sort of back off and
Ease into it.
and let them go get in front of you and get settled down so that you know what's going on. Come out leading the first lap.
I didn't know any better.
Still don't.
Really pay attention.
But we used Richard pit crew for you,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Made a green flag stop. What happened?
We were about a half track ahead, and they threw a caution, let everybody get caught up. Did they not? Did they not? Yeah. John Markham, put the caution out. You're not going to stink up my
Yeah,
show.
you're going to stink my show up.
Yeah. So,
But we wound up winning.
yeah. 79, Take the Oldsmobile down there too. Wouldn't run a lick. Struggled with speed all week.
All week
Long. I remember Richie coming down there and building a set of headers on it in the stall to try to find some power. And you're running third.
White flag.
White flag.
17 seconds back.
Slides. They drive into the turn. They're hitting the wall. Richard Petty is now pulling out in front. Here they come. Waltrip trying to slingshot. Petty is out in front at the line. Waltrip to the inside. Petty wins it.
So they have the big fight.
There's a fight. The tempers overflowing.
And you guys went and struggling with STP that year, sponsorship-wise.
Still
They had
hadn't signed a contract.
Yeah, they had taken a step back. To go down there and not be the fastest car, to go down there and circumstance fall your way, to go down there with so many things that seemed like it was against you to win that race, that was a big win.
We'd always won at least one race a year, maybe more. But then we didn't, 78, we didn't win anything. It was just sort of like we just running, we was in the right place at the right time.
Could you believe it? Have you been in a lot of races? Was there anyone ever weirder finish than this one?
Well, I tell you, I lost some this close, but this is the first time I remember in a long time I won one this close.
Hey NASCAR fans, thanks for checking out the NBC Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe below for the latest NASCAR news, race highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.